thinking about getting a drone? Or maybe you just got it and are looking for information about flying the drone in the UAE. Or perhaps you are a drone pilot already but want to refresh your knowledge. Well, regardless of your experience, in today's video I am going to share with you things I learned during my 4 years flying experience. The topics that I will discuss in today's video will be rules and regulations of flying a drone in the UAE, registration introduction, fines for not adhering to the rules, my personal tips, and at the end I want to show you how I create videos like this one, for example, not having anyone to film me and driving alone in the car and not having to hold the remote controller in my hands. So make sure to watch until the end. Hello guys, this is Missions Offroad. Welcome back to my channel. I am so happy you are here again. And if you are watching my video for the first time, I am an off-road and adventure enthusiast. Once you subscribe to my channel, you're gonna learn more about unique places in the UAE, camping and hiking tips, and topics related to off-road vehicles. Every week I upload 2 videos, so make sure to subscribe to my channel, press the notification bell button so that you don't miss any videos in the future. Flying a drone in the United Arab Emirates is legal, however you need to be compliant with the drone regulations to avoid possible fines. I have chosen the most important rules and regulations that you will certainly come across while flying a drone in the UAE, and the first one is the maximum flight altitude, which is 400 feet. It is a good practice to set this value on your remote controller so that when your drone reaches this certain altitude, it will not allow it to fly higher than that. Next, whenever you hear or see a helicopter or an aircraft, land your drone immediately. Operating a drone is only allowed in the approved flying zones. There is an app called My Drone Hub that every drone pilot in the UAE should have. It is gonna show you where you are allowed and where you are not allowed to fly exactly. The zones marked in colors on the map indicate that these are no-fly zones or restricted zones, which means that it is forbidden to fly there or you need GCAA approval. Any place on the map without a color is a safe place for you to fly. These are approved flying zones. Drones shall not be flown near the UAE airports, heliports, helicopter landing sites, and airfields. Drones shall not be flown near public, residential neighborhoods, public gatherings, or public or private properties. Taking pictures or videos of people in the UAE without their permission is illegal. If you lose your drone, you must immediately report it to GCAA. I am gonna place the email and the hotline of GCAA in the description box, so make sure to save it. And this is because, for example, in case of a bad weather, your drone might be carried away by strong winds to the restricted zone, so GCAA needs to be informed about this. We had a case in Dubai a few years ago that a drone happened to be in the airport airspace. It caused huge disruptions in the operations at the airport. Many flights were delayed for hours and many of them also diverted to nearby airports because they ran out of fuel. Also, in case you sell the drone, you need to inform GCAA, and this is because you are responsible for the drone registered under your name. And this brings us also to another very important point, which is the user and the drone must be registered before flying. To register the drone in Emirates such as Sharjah, Ayman, Ras Al Khaimah, Al Qawain, Fujairah and Abu Dhabi, you need to obtain an online certificate from GCAA. Registration is free and it would take maximum 2 to 3 working days to receive your drone registration certificate. However, in my case, I always got it right away after applying. If you would like to fly in Dubai, that's a different story, slightly more complicated. The The process consists first of getting a training certificate from training center approved by DCAA, and this is for example Sanat Academy, where it costs 368 dirhams. Additionally, on the top of that, you will need to get a license from DCAA that is gonna cost you 120 dirhams per year, and it is renewable every year. I already made a step-by-step video on how to register a drone in the UAE, specifically in GCAA and DCAA, and the link is gonna pop up right now somewhere up here. I don't know which one is gonna be the right side on your screen, but perhaps this one? It's gonna pop up on the right. You can also find this video in the description box. The fines for not adhering to the rules and regulations of flying a drone in the UAE can vary, and they can reach up to 100,000 dirhams. Of course, depending on the nature of the violations. Serious safety and security violations can even lead to possible prosecution, resulting in imprisonment not exceeding 3 years. That's why you must get yourself familiar with all the rules and regulations and the guidelines mentioned in this video. And for more information about possible violations, I will put in the description box a link to an official website where you can exactly check it in detail. I also want to share with you a few things that I found very important from my own experience, and certainly you will benefit from them. And the first one is flying over the sea. This is because on the internet you probably may see the kind of gadgets that you would attach to your drone so that it makes it possible to land on the water safely. That actually not always happens, and additionally this is salt water, right? So the droplets from the sea can get inside your drone and cause damage. That's why I don't really recommend flying the drone directly above the water surface. To be honest, my drone fell down once into the sea. I think it was there maybe for like 3 seconds, and this is because I ignored the warning when the battery was already low. So I kept flying, and simply the battery was not enough to bring it to the safe dry land, so it landed in the sea. But it was very close to the beach, so I ran and I took it out directly from water, and I rinsed it with normal bottled water so that no salt water hopefully gets inside. My drone survived and nothing was wrong after, however yours may not. Do not attempt to start the drone in a bad weather conditions. This is also another thing that I learned. I myself nearly lost drone 2 times because of that. One time it was in Poland when I flew my drone in the drizzle. At some point the drone stopped replying to my commands and it flew itself high above the clouds, and this is where I lost it. Thankfully, when it reached around 30% of battery power level, it came back to the takeoff point. However, another time it was in the UAE mountains and the weather was extremely windy. I took off the drone and immediately the wind took the drone away and carried it over the cliff. I could not bring it back because the wind was so strong, it had very little power to go against it. Additionally, when it reached the level of 30%, because DJI drones have this safety feature, when they are at 30% battery level, they would start going back to the point where they took off from. So my drone wanted to do that, but it couldn't because the wind was so strong. When the battery was already critically low, which means that this is the point where you cannot fly your drone anymore, it auto landed on the edge of the cliff. I ended up risking my life and getting down the cliff to get my drone back. It's not really worth it, so think twice before you start your drone in a bad weather. I'm curious if it ever happened to you that you lost your drone, and if you did you find it? Or maybe you happen to be in the similar situation like mine? Let me know down in the comments. The next thing is, it's a good practice to start landing your drone drone at around 30–40% of battery power level, because again, like I mentioned previously, you never know what's gonna happen. Do not store your batteries fully charged. Only charge the batteries on the day that you are supposed to go and use your drone. And talking about the batteries as well, and the UAE weather, as you know, in the summer it's very hot. I believe that the drones are made to work in the weather up to 40 degrees Celsius, if I am not mistaken. Fly the drone during the summer, maybe in the mornings or in the late afternoons. One of my batteries in my previous drone, Mavic Air, when I flew it during the day and it was so hot, it got so swollen, like I was scared it's gonna explode. So be careful with that, because at the end it's a lithium battery, so it's a dangerous thing. Now talking about gadgets for the drone, get a landing pad as big as you can. This will make your landings and takeoffs much easier, and also it will prevent debris from getting inside your drone, especially obstructing the gimbal. And my last advice, no matter how excited you are upon receiving your drone, and I've been there as well, do not attempt to fly it at home or at the balcony. I personally know a person who took off the drone from the balcony, and on the same day that he got it, he crashed it onto another building. Practice flying your drone only in the open space outdoors. And as promised at the beginning, I will now also share with you some secrets on how I make my videos, because you always ask me, how do you film your videos when you are saying you are alone? Is someone with you? Who's filming you? Who's holding the remote controller? And so on, because you guys don't want to believe me that I go for trips alone. Anyways, DJI drones have these features that will allow you to follow an object. For example, on my Mavic Air 2, there are a few programs to choose from that will create short cinematic stable clips, either for example circling around the object or raising up above the object and coming back. Or there is an option just to follow an object when you select it, and then this is the one I use in the mountains and the desert, because either the drone will follow you behind, in front, or also at the same time can circle you around in the chosen direction. When I was choosing a new drone that I recently bought, and this feature helped me to decide on Mavic Air 2, because I was also considering FPV. However, for the videos I create, not having this option to follow me would be really problematic. If you enjoyed this video today, I'm going to leave you another one here that I will show you how to step-by-step register your drone in the UAE, specifically for GCAA and DCAA. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them down below and I will try to answer them. Smash the thumbs up button under this video, and of course don't forget to subscribe. Take care guys, ma salama.